Good evening, everybody. Hello, and welcome to the round 8 of the XRL Racing League GP2 division, brought to you here on Twitch.tv and XRL Racing League Channel 1. Well, brought to you as usual by myself, XRL Bobbits, but with a new co-commentator with me tonight in the former F1 division driver with myself, Jamie2503. Good evening, Jamie. Well, obviously we both had a really good race last night, finishing second and third respectively, picking up some decent points, even though I told you to move over and let me go through, but obviously you weren't going to give me that. But anyways, yes, let's get out onto the track. We are in here for the long haul, anyone who's actually watching. 100% race distance for the GP2 division, and well, as you can quite clearly see, it is an intermediate qualifying session, so this will be very interesting. The first one that we've had so far, since we're actually only on the second night of the racing this week. But as I said, let's get out onto the track and let's get out and see who is the lead car, at least anywhere. And we've actually already received a message from Mucker, who's trying to do GP3. Wes can't find a new guy. I'll have to send a message on that one, but nonetheless, anyway, let's try and get on board with the person who is at the front of the queue, which is going to be quite difficult because I can't find that person. This is going to take me quite a while, and it's Dizzy Cupid, last night who qualified second place in the F1 division for when he covered in, and I've got the glitch again where it's not going to tell me what lap times are doing, but nonetheless, let's get going through turn 1, and Keep getting very out of shape there, actually going through that first corner, and he actually lost quite a bit of time as a result. But it was kind of quite close behind him, and they'll have to, well, unless these people can pick up the pace, they'll have to move out the way. But nonetheless, he's come through turn 3 now, takes that much better than he did turn 1, and just coming down the banking now in towards turn 3. Jamie, going on this track, obviously it is only 9 corners in total. What would you think is the most difficult corner on this track?
Really. The kind of league that it is. The kind of league that it is. For me, I'd probably say. I'd probably say. Probably for me.
Well, turn 4 actually is the little right-hander before the left-hander, and then obviously there is that left-right at the start of sector 3, as this queue goes a little wide actually at the final corner. Let's see what its first lap time is. It's a 13.6, which has immediately already been beaten by the car behind him, which it won't let me get on board on, even though they crossed the start-finish line. So it's Ryan who's on a 13.4, and he's now down to P3. Davy's P2 on a 13.2, and LGS is on pole at the moment. That's an interesting one. It certainly is. I'll apologise to viewers who are seeing this on my screen at the moment. I'm just trying to sort this out for the GP3 guys to get a driver in. Anyways, I'm going to LGS has now been beaten from his provisional pole time, and it's Weekly Nair who won last time out in Canada quite convincingly as well, and he's set a 13.0 so far, so pretty decent laps at the moment. We could probably see people get into the 112s if the track conditions improve, or if they've got several laps of fuel and they're trying to get accustomed to the conditions. Excuse me, as Weekly Nair is coming. Sorry, go on, Jim.
We have separating the top 7 cars, a really close field, separating the top 700 in the corners, a really XRL Michael ahead of Davey by XRL Michael ahead of Davey by almost 200 seconds, and Dizzy Cupid goes faster.
So well done to
800
very close at this moment in time, but obviously we still have 10.5 minutes to go before the end of qualifying, as it is anyway, so times can easily improve here, there and everywhere, as Weeping Earth has just come around turn 8 now, keeps within the white lines there, now into turn 9, takes a bit too much curve, but he keeps it in easily, he's going to come across the start line. Isn't it an improvement? It is, and it's a 112.7. Form decides it wants to get involved. Let's go on board now with somebody else. The Living Dead, he's on a lap. He's just come through the final corner, actually, and he's backed off. Conor Wise is P10 at the moment in the Force Indy. He's on a 14.8, so he's excuse me. And again, he's 2 seconds off pole position. As is Harry D, who's covering in tonight in the Ferrari from the F4 division. Very quick driver is Harry, actually, in the F4 division, and we can see how he gets on tonight. I would expect him at least to get some points, considering there's A, only 11 drivers anywhere, and B, the fact that he is on a wheel, and obviously we should know that the wheel is quicker around here compared to the pad, nonetheless, as Harry comes through the penultimate corner now, through the final corner, beautifully taken, right to the curb well, keeps him within the lines. This should be an improvement, I think, and it is. It's a 13.3, which puts him 7th.
By a second, but that hasn't improved. Conor still improved by 10.
Indeed, yeah, just looking at it. Ooh, Shadow Hunter, aka XRL Michaels, has gone P2 now on a 12.8 within a 10th of Weekly Nath at the top. And looking at these positions at the moment, the top 9 separated by less than 0.8 of a second. And even Conor Wise is just over a second behind himself. So a very close qualifying here at the moment by the guys who have turned up this week. Shadow Hunter FX, aka Michael, or Scaffolding, or whatever you want to call him. You know, he's got so many names under the sun that we can't really keep up. But we're just going to call him Michael because it's easier. He's come through turns 6 and 7 now. I don't think this is really a quick lap, and indeed it's not. He's about to go into the pits as a result anyway. Does he keep it? He's P3 and a 13 flat. He's on an out lap at the moment. Blackster Hill also on a 13 flat. Just come back into the... Everybody's coming into the pits. I don't like it. I think Davy's on a lap though. I think Davy's on a lap in the Force Indy. He's just coming through turn 3 now. Slides it in while through the banking of turn 4, which really is just an acceleration zone, and into the very difficult turn 5. Can easily catch people out on the exit. It seems to straighten up and tighten all of a sudden, and you can easily pop a wheel into the grass and onto the gravel. As Davy has a big moment through turns. Nope, it was lag. It wasn't a moment. It was just lag. He's gone through turn 6 and 7 anyway, into turn 8 now. Gets the apex on the exit, but not really on the entry to the corner. Through the last corner, just about keeping it in the lines. It looks a decent lap. It is an improvement. It is. It's pole position at 12.7. Well done, Davey. Excuse me. As I said though, people should just be improving now as they get accustomed to these conditions, so times will probably still continue to tumble. So Davey, even though he is P1 at the moment, may not even end up finishing there. We'll stay on board with him and see if he's on another lap, because he seems to be going at full throttle still. Completed the first sector and into the middle sector now. It's definitely a traction zone. There's so many slow corners. Traction is key. Davey getting really good traction through turn 3 there, through turn 4. And now into the left-hander of turn 5. He's got a Red Bull, I believe, that is in front of him, or maybe a Taurus, I can't quite tell. But let's hope that car doesn't get in his way as he's about to complete this lap. Through turn 6, it's only just about keeping it, and the Red Bull actually indeed does get out of the way. Some good driving from that driver. Coming up to turn 8 now, not a particularly good lap, I think, from Davey here compared to his previous one. Oh, he gets quite out of shape, and he's actually lost his pole position now. He's already been beaten as he comes across the start-finish line now, and he doesn't improve. And the man who's gone on pole is Dizzy Cupid with a 12.5. Just cycling further back, Jambo, current championship leader, is only P9 at the moment on a 13.5, so he's a second off pole position at the moment, and he seems to be struggling in these intermediate conditions. Coming through turn 5 now, View. Well, Jambo's just coming through the final corner himself, and now beautifully taken there. That is really good from Jambo. This looks like an improvement, I think, and it is. It's a 13.1 that takes him up at least to P6 for now. Yeah, I never thought we'd be saying that one. So he's going to kill me for that later on. Blackster Hill is currently P5, also on a 13-0. Oh, he's lost the back end. He's taken too much curve. He lost the back end, and that's that time gone. That could have been an improvement, but in the end, it turned out to be a mistake that has cost him. Here comes Michael, as he mentioned, he come across the line. Doesn't improve. So Weekly Nath, he's now on the front of the second row with his 1 minute 12.7. He's come through turn 6. Now and through turn 7. He's got, I think it's one of the Force Indias in front of him. Hopefully that they don't get in his way, he doesn't distract him. Into turn 8 now. Nicely on the apex and avoids the curve on the outside. Through the last corner. Another driver keeping within the lines. Very good driving for Weekly Nath. I'm not too sure if it's an improvement though, and it's not. Living Dead actually, who is currently in P11 in what is actually last place. He's only 1.3 seconds off pole. So it just shows that this field is pretty close, even in these intermediate tyre conditions. I'm going to stay on board with Living Dead now as he comes down to start his next flying lap into turn 1 now. See how he takes. Oh, he's completely missed the apex of the corner and runs quite wide as a result of this, and not the best start for the Living Dead here as he climbs up the hill now in towards the foresty scenery, which is nice to look at even for a game's point of view. Into turn 2 anyway, and again, once again the Living Dead completely missing his apex there. I don't know if he's going for more of a karting and outside line in these wet conditions, but it just seems to be looks like he's losing time. Down the hill now and in towards the very difficult turn 3, completely missing braking point here and end up in the gravel. But no such problems for Living Dead here, coming now through the sweeping right-hander of turn 4, as I mentioned. It's just an acceleration zone into turn 5 now. Got to make sure he doesn't take too much curve on the exit. And even though he missed the apex actually, he took a decent amount of speed, but he does seem to be struggling compared to other people in these conditions, if you're watching him, guys. Oh, he's just got off at turn 8 now. I don't think Living Dead is enjoying these conditions. I know, and it's Harry D who's actually in P9 on a 13-1, and yet, as I said, he's only P9. It just shows how close it is, and you know, even Harry's doing a really good job. So it looks like he could be setting his sights up pretty well. Oh, he's lost the back end. He's lost the back end at turn 5, sorry, and that's that mark gone at least anyway. LGS, who was the man starting on pole position at the beginning of this session, he's now down to P8. Not liking this. He's just going into the box now. I don't know if he's going to have another chance to get another lap if he can get out in time. Jambo is P7, about to start another lap soon. Ryan is out on wet tyres. I wonder if these conditions are getting worse. Or is it just me? I think these conditions are getting worse. Yeah, oh yeah, Weekly Nath completely missing the braking point in his outlap, and actually Ryan is out on wet tyres, so I'm going to stay on board. And yeah, I think it is wet tyres because he's got so much grip compared to everywhere else. I think he's going to be a bit slower, I think, compared, because he was at the start. I don't think he's going to improve. He's probably just practicing really on these tyres, but let's see how he goes. Anyway, he's already taken turn 1 okay. Up the hill now in towards turn 2. There is a Williams in front of him. That's an interesting first gear. And constantly on the rev limiter there. Yeah, that was... I think I nearly lost my hearing, but he's clearly backed off. And I think that probably is qualifying over. I mean, Blackster Hill, look how much he's struggling to get the power down. I think it is far too wet now, and I think the conditions have severely worsened. Indeed, they have. Look at the amount of spray that Weekly Nath is kicking up. So I think this is qualifying over. Yeah, I certainly, yeah, Dizzy Cupid's on the wet tyres, and well, let's just watch it for comical views, really, if anything, or just to see how well you can handle these wet tyres. But yeah, I think it's a definite that the conditions are worse, and nobody's going to be improving now. And Dizzy Cupid is going to take a well-deserved pole position. now can convert that to a win. Obviously, it's going to be another 70 long laps. He did get practice last night in the F1 division, as did LGS, so they've got a little bit of a threshold compared to the rest of the drivers. Maybe got some more practice, got some, decent times in. They know what strategy they should be doing. In fact, I know what strategy LGS is going to be doing. And he's actually going to be trying a 4-stop, which I think Dizzy Cupid was attempting, as he's now celebrating by reversing at the final corner. Interesting.
A well-deserved pole there on the wheel in the way, and they're still in pole position. Probably some money on him to win the race.
Indeed, so Dizzy Cupid takes pole position here at the very wet Spielberg Austrian circuit. Davey is P2. Weekly 8th, last week's winner is 3rd. Shadowhunter, aka Michaels, is 4th, with Blackstill 5th, Ryan 6th, Jambo, championship leader, is 7th. LGS is down in 8th. He's not going to be happy. He was hoping for a dry qualifying and get further towards the grid, but unfortunately that didn't happen, so he's in P8. Ryan is 9th, with Connor Rice 10th, and the Living Dead rounding up the back of the grid in P11. So 17 long laps. I don't know if you noticed, Jamie, but I didn't see what the race was going to be like in terms of the weather conditions. 0%, so it's a fully dry race, so LGS will start on prime tyres. I can tell you that now. Not to give it away or anything, not to do that. Oh wait, I just did. Just gonna cycle through everything on here. Oh, how many? I've got 52 clean races apparently. Don't know how I've managed to do that.
I've only got 9.
Shows who's cleaner. And apparently Austria is my most successful track. Yeah, right.
Oh, mine's about 8.
I wonder why. Yes, obviously Jamie and I are going to be starting at the back of the grid. Well, I'm in my trusty Caterham as always, unless... Have you gone for the Caterham as well, Jamie, or have you gone for a different car?
I have.
Good, man. We love the Caterhams on this game. They're that good that we just don't want to use them. And there it is. There's my teammate's car. Look at it. It's green glory. So anyways, let's do a rundown from the back to the front of the Living Dead. Starts P11 in what is the only Red Bull in this race, so he's got some work to do from there. Connor Rice is 10th, with Harry from F4 division covering in tonight. He's in 9th. LGS is 8th. Jambo, championship leader, as I mentioned, he starts P7 with Ryan in 6th. Blackster Hill is 5th, with Shadowhunter, aka Michael, aka Scaffolding, aka Connection, is 4th. Weekly Nath, who is my prediction for the race win tonight, starts 3rd. Davey is 2nd, and Jamie's prediction of Dizzy Cupid to win the race starts on pole. I said it was 70 laps, it's actually 71. I was actually losing people a lap here. Anything could happen. 23 degrees. It's more like 2.3 degrees out here where we are now. It's bloody freezing.
Yeah.
Obviously, guys, if anyone is watching, if you have any questions or anything you'd like to mention at all, get it onto the Twitch channel box. I'll try and get on there if I can. If not, get your messages into Jamie2503 or to XRL Bobberts. But yes, 71 long laps. Well, actually pretty short laps around this 4.5 kilometre circuit. High speed, short, slow corners, anything can happen. And as we were shown last night, certainly anything can happen. You know, crashes here and there and everywhere, disconnections. Hopefully we won't have any of that tonight, fingers crossed, and hopefully we can have a decent race on our hands. But the only way we're going to find out is getting out onto the track and see who's going to cross the line in 71 laps time and take those well-deserved 25 points. I mean, actually, looking at the championship before we came into this, 2nd Davey and Weekly Neff 3rd were separated by 4 points, and they're P2 and 3 on the grid. So that could be an interesting battle between them.
Yeah, super close race. I've been doing quite a bit of practice with Davey this week. Yeah, super close race. I've been doing quite a bit of practice with Davey.
Is he your bum buddy?
Yeah, he starts off slow, but then he tends to get a little bit quicker as the
You never know, he could be.
No.
Anyways, let's get out onto the track now and see who's going to be... Well, let's see how this first corner's going to go. That's the main thing.
Yeah. That's a start.
Well, it was very clean. It was pretty clean last night. I think it was turn 2 that was the issue in the F1 division. But let's see how GP2 do it tonight. So obviously, Dizzy Cupid and Paul. He's gone for the option tyres to start with, as has Jamie and myself. We're going for a very short stint, and actually, looking at it, I think LGS, from what I can see, was the only person starting on those tyres. But anyways, there's 5 red lights. It's lights out, and away we go. Let's get onto there quickly. And Dizzy Cupid's had a poor start. He's had a shocking start. And already Davey's taking him into turn 1, and Weekly Nath just slightly forcing him off wide. He's into P2 in the McLaren, and Michaels is... Shadow Hunter is there. Oh, he's just trying to avoid the McLaren there, braking so much later. As it's Shadow Hunter who's got very out of shape. Then here comes the Ferrari. Oh, sidepod glitch. Oh, dear. Oh dear, even there seems to be a lot of incidents actually. I think we missed what happened at the back at turn 1. And Dizzy Cupid has gone from pole position and he's now down to last already. Jambo is 10th on the prime tyres. He's had a poor start himself. I don't know what happened to him, but we'll find out later on. In P9 is Blacksteel, so Blacksteel obviously with that side pod glitch as well. He's lost out as a result. In P8 will probably be is Connorized actually, so he's had an incident. Maybe himself at turn 1. LGS is actually going for a move on the Ferrari of Ryan on the inside, and LGS, as I mentioned, on the prime tyres, and that is a good overtake from LGS into turn 8. He's compromising himself through turn 9, got a little wide. Can Ryan take advantage from that as he comes down to turn 1? As was Living Dead has had a great start. He's up into P5 already, avoiding all the carnage as Ryan in the Ferrari trying to have a look on the inside of the McLaren of Michaels there, but Michaels holding his own and he remains in P3. But as you said, Weekly Nath is taking the lead and he's just ahead of Dave now. So as you mentioned earlier, Jamie, Dave does have these slow starts. You know, obviously he took advantage at turn 1 from Dizzy Cupid, but he's already been overtaken by his championship rival. Indeed, after all the incidents that had happened, these 4 have gone away with it and they're streaking away clearly. I think they've got about, I'd say about a 2-second gap or so over to, well, from Ryan down to the Living Dead and 5th. It could actually even be more than that, could even be 3 seconds. As Michaels has gone very wide in the final corner. Ryan caught out by that and he's hit the back of him, but he's still trying to keep it on the inside as he's coming down towards turn 1, but I think he's just going to have to slot back behind him, and indeed he does. It's still as you Ryan down a little bit of track extend of turn 1 there. So I don't think he's getting too much out of it. Michaels is much cleaner. Saying that though, Ryan is in the slipstream as he come up towards turn 2 with Michaels Shadow Hunter. Sorry, defend. He doesn't. Ryan trying to go for a half-hearted move on the inside. Doesn't make it as Shadow Hunter goes wide at turn 2. Ryan trying to have another look, and all this is doing with these two battling is the front 2 are pulling away. As a result, Ryan needs to get ahead of him as soon as he can. Then he's got the DRS into turn 3, trying to look around the outside, but Shadow Hunter, great defence on the inside, shuts the door, and he just about holds on to 3rd at the moment. Behind them in P5, Living Dead is just still holding his own with LGS actually still in 6th. He's still ahead of the Ferrari of Harry D, who's P7. Harry on the option 10 needs to get ahead of this Toro Rosso as soon as possible, or else it's just going to really destroy his race. Look at him in the slipstream, he's got so much more grip. He's having a... Oh, I thought we were going to have a look on the inside. It's turn 8. They're probably waiting for the DRS in through turn 9. And Harry went very wide there the last corner, and he's actually not used the DRS as a result. So fair play from Harry, as you said. Yeah, side by side through turn 1. As Ryan taking that position.
He went on the inside, but over XRL Michaels get back over the limit on the track. Ryan should have DRS again. XRL Michaels get back by traction, but Ryan should have DRS again. He's down this track. Davey had a lag spike. I don't think he's dropped a couple of seconds behind.
Well, it's not a bad thing that he's actually got rid of it out of the way at this early stage. As Ryan with the DRS having a look on the inside of LGS, giving him plenty of room, but he's not being aggressive enough. And there's actually a 5-car train now from P6 down to Jambo, who's P10. Harry trying to have a look around the inside. Oh, Blackster Hill gave him a little nudge there. I think he's going to have to let him back through and not let the Force India through at the same time. And is he going to let Harry? Well, Harry's got the inside for turn 8, so he should let him through, and indeed he does, but he's lost out a second and a half into LGS, but I would expect him to be close. And Jambo on the inside of turn 8 on the Force India of Conorize, and he's taken P9. Great driving as Blackster Hill now has made a huge mistake at the last corner, and here comes Jambo on the prime tyres. DRS slap over for the pair of them, but Jambo's going to be ahead into turn 1. He's made the move. Stable Blackster has gone for the cutback in through turn 1, and he retakes that position. Good driving there. Oh, a little bit of wheel banging. Oh, is this going to be 3 wide into turn 2? It could be here. Conorize is trying to get involved on the action as well. No, it's 2 wide into turn 2. Blackster Hill, fair play to him on the inside, clean as you like, and he's retaken that 8th place back. But as a result, they've all lost a lot of time to LGS, who probably was loving that. He's managed to pull a little bit of a gap. Saying someone who hasn't got a gap is Ryan. Ryan has made a mistake somewhere, and the Living Dead is now all over the back of him. This is the battle for P4 at the moment, and Shadowhunter has got away from him somehow. Ryan must have made a huge mistake. Turn 8, Living Dead still trying to hang on to the back of Ryan here, but Ryan seems to regain his composure somewhat. The Living Dead does have the DRS, but I don't think it's going to be enough for him to catch him down towards turn 1. He might have an opportunity down to turn 3 as Ryan, huge corner go on turn 1 there. We've got to keep an eye out on that from people during this race. LGS is still in that P6, but that 3-way battle for P8 is still going on. Blackster, Conorize has got ahead of Jambo somehow at turn 1. Blackster is still in P8. I'm going to go on board with, from the view of Conorize, who's got the inside into turn 2. Jambo trying to hang it round the outside, but Conorize, once again, he shuts the door this time, and he takes that P9 back from Jambo. There's battles going on everywhere. I can't keep up. Because I think LGS, indeed he has, but LGS is on the outside line in towards. No. Oh. And breathe. I think is the right word for that. And breathe. But Harry has got ahead of LGS. I think LGS was a little bit aggressive there, trying to keep the Ferrari behind him. But he did have the inside line through turn 5, and he had to give that place up, and he's made a huge mistake, and he's gone off the track at the last corner, and Blackster Hill now is just going to have an easy move up. He's got ahead of him, and well, he needs to gain his composure, because he is on an alternative strategy as well as Jambo, and he just needs to keep his cool and just try and stick within the DRS at his speed. And Jambo, he's actually got back ahead of Conorize, and now Dizzy Cupid has finally caught up to the back of these guys. He's got ahead of Conorize already. He's back up into P10. Conorize trying to hang it around the outside actually, but Dizzy Cupid had the inside line, and he shuts the door on the outside, so I've got no room there for Conorize to get back through. So Dizzy Cupid back into P10, but he's going to be livid, I think, from the start that he's had. Out in front. Never thought I'd be. Never thought I'd be saying that as well. And here was Michael saying that he wanted to move down to GP3. You're 3rd place, man. Get a grip.
XRL Michaels had a big power slide at the final corner before someone Michael second.
Well done there from Shadowhunter, FX, or Michael, or whatever you want to call him. I just call him Michael. I think it's Dizzy Cupid now. Has got DRS in the back of Jambo, having a little look into turn 1 there, but had to get back into the slipstream back on the racing line behind the Mercedes. Coming up the hill now towards turn 2. There's actually another battle going on just ahead. I think it's between Blackster Hill and Harry, and indeed it is. Them two have a tussle between them themselves. Jambo actually gets a pretty decent exit off the top of turn 2. He doesn't have DRS, unlike Dizzy Cupid who does. Is he going to be close enough to make a move down towards turn 3? He is gaining on time. Tries to show his nose to Jambo there, but Jambo just about hangs on, and he holds on to that P9 for now. Dizzy Cupid needs to make a move as soon as possible. He's probably trying to force one against him. He's going to get an undercut to clean air quite soon, but it's a case of he needs to make the positions back when he can. crest now, or open hill, whatever you want to call it, because we're not technically rallying. As Jambo cuts turn 8 slightly now and picks up a bit of the dust. Dizzy Keeper was much cleaner, so he's lost it. Oh, Jambo's lost it! Got a lot of power slide and an overstay on that final corner. Here comes Dizzy Keeper now. DRS down to turn 1. He's alongside him this time into turn 1. And he's just got off the track, but Jambo retakes the position back anyway. He was too slow into the corner, but nonetheless he's within the pack in the slipstream of the Mercedes. Can he make a lunge into turn 2? He's got the DRS anywhere. I thought he wasn't gonna. I thought he was going to hit the back of him there, but fair play to Dizzy Keeper, just stopping the car in time, but he's a lot closer.
On the outside of Ryan, and he's trying to pass the DRS Ryan. Staying on the outside of Ryan, oh, there's a side pod DRS Ryan. Staying on the outside of Ryan. Oh, there's a side pod glitch. In the right direction. Ryan's off. But he's just I'm not sure in the right direction that was because I'm not sure whose fault that was because he might have just pushed Ryan off slightly.
Well, we'll get the driver's words afterwards. Something noted down. Dizzy Keeper got under pressure there from Connor Ives for what is P10. He's not really threatening Jambo anymore. There's gaps have started to slightly open up a little bit. As Jambo once again get very out of shape at the last corner. Dizzy Keeper had a much cleaner run. He's got to have him this time to turn 1. He's alongside him, same as the previous lap. Can he get the car stopped? He does this time, and he parks it on the apex. Very well done there, Dizzy Keeper. Back in, he's up into P9, but the problem now is Jambo will have the slipstream into turn 2 and potentially the DRS as well. Indeed he will. Dizzy Keeper is defending to the inside line. Can Jambo have a look on the outside? He can't, but he's right on the back of the gearbox. And Connor Ives is joining in on the front as well. Dizzy Keeper immediately defending to the middle of the track. Is Jambo going to have a look? He's going to pull to the outside line. He's got the overspeed. Can he get the car stopped and take him around the outside? I think he can. Oh, he's just gone over the curb slightly. He's lost the traction and Dizzy Keeper can hang on. He just does. Well, Jambo's gone wide at turn 5 now, and that allows Connor Ives to pull right into the back of his gearbox. Now Jambo seems to be struggling on these prime tyres. You know, there's only about, I'd say about 3/4 of a second a lap difference between the two tyre compounds. Obviously we have them in the super soft and the soft tyres, and somebody has actually already made a pit stop. In fact, 2 people are in the pits. One person is LGS. This is his strategy. He's going on for, he's doing a 4-stopper tonight, is LGS, and he's going on options for the rest of the way, and he's actually held up the Ferrari of Ryan, who's gone on to another set of option tyres himself, as Ryan gets a second lag in the pit lane. If you're going to have it somewhere, I guess it's there. Just on board the Connor Ives now, he's up into P9 as a result of them two making their pit stops. And Jambo's fallen off Dizzy Keeper a little bit, so Dizzy Keeper's got a bit of breathing space now. He can now set his sights down on catching the 2 cars in front of him. What is now actually for P5 and 6, and that is Blackstone Hill in the Williams and the Ferrari of Harry, who's up to P5 now. In P4 we find we have the Living Dead, who has made that great start, gone from last up into 4th, so great job from him so far. Then we have the top 3 of Davey in 3rd, who's actually, he's just gone off at the last corner. I had a little bit of a moment there, Davey. We've got, well, I never thought we'd be saying a Shadow Hunter in P2, lapping really well actually as well. But out in front, Weekly Nerf, who's just, he's done a 109.3 as his fastest lap, is absolutely mauling this field, and he's got about, I'd say about 5 seconds, 6 second gap over Shadow Hunter. Just might actually stay on board with him for the rest of this lap. Excuse me. Look at this weekend, they've actually kept this lap very clean. It's a very clean lap there from Weekly Nerf, and he's still managing to set low 1:10s, which is matching the PB of Shadow Hunter, who's actually now lapped on 1:11. So Weekly Nerf's lead is just pulling out ever so much. David made another mistake on that lap, and he's dropping off even further. And if he's not careful, he's going to be caught up by the Living Dead, who in turn is being caught up by the Ferrari of Harry D. turn 2. Harry D definitely within the 1 second detection point of the Red Bull, the Living Dead, and indeed he is. There's actually another battle going slightly.
On the right, he's got on the inside of Jambo. The two of them are still side by side. On the right, he's got on the inside of Jambo. The two of them are still side by side. Can he get the overspeed and get by DRS? Turn 3. Does can he get the overspeed? Will he make a dive up the inside? He goes for it. Two of them closer, will he make a dive up the inside? He goes for it. Power slide and loses two of them just
Indeed, I've just got on board with that at the right time. Good defence from Jambo, and they're just forcing Connerized into that mistake. And he hangs on for the time being. Just going to go further forward. Dizzy Cupid actually looks like he's going to be making his first pit stop of this race. And indeed he is. So he pits from what is P7. Blackstone remained out on track. He's now up into 6th. Harry D still just got within a second off the back of the Living Dead, but not as close as he was when I was on board with him earlier on. So Living Dead seems to have maintained his pace somewhat and is starting to keep that gap constant. But Harry will have the DRS down into turn 3. I don't think he's going to be quite close enough to make a move. There goes the letterbox all wide open. And indeed, Living Dead is just pulling away quite easily, actually quite comfortably. Not a big enough gap to not have to worry about Harry from behind. Cycle back once again, see if that battle between Connerized and Jambo is still ongoing, and in fact it's not. Jambo's actually pulled out a bit of a gap to the Force India of Connerized, so Connerized may be coming to the end of his first stint here, might be starting to struggle on those option tyres. I mean, the option tyres can last about 18 laps, I would say, so it's a case of when people are going to be comfortable as to what strategy they're doing now. Is actually in front of Jambo's piece, and we have 3 people in the pits. Blackstone is one of them. He's actually held up the Red Bull of the Living Dead, so that might allow Harry to get right close to the back of him as he makes his own pit stop now, and indeed he is. Harry is now right behind the Red Bull. They've both gone to prime time, and who's this that's coming down the pit lane? And that's Harry's teammate Ryan. Ryan's going to be alongside, but actually no, he's going to be ahead of the Living Dead, so Ryan's managed to get a bit of an undercut. LGS is now up into P9 as a result on his 5 lap old option times. He's got a 1:09.9, so he's lapping very quickly at the moment as LGS. He will be going options the rest of the way to do a different strategy compared to everybody else, and it might pay off for him. You never know. We'll have to see as the race enters its latter stages. Dizzy Cupid is in P10 and has come out ahead, or has made a move actually on Blackstone Hill, who's on now on prime tyres. Out.
On the right is crucial. Michael's here and Davey crucial coming in at the end of this lap.
Nope, Davey has gone round for another lap as Weekly Nath did make a pit. Weekly Nath did make a pit stop, so Davey takes the lead for the time being, but does have to pit again as Living Dead's retired. He was doing really well. That I cannot explain.
Still keeping Michael's behind him, but Connerized here is going to have a good look at Jambo. Still keeping Michael's behind him, but Connerized behind is going to have a good look at Jambo. He locks up into turn 2 as he's staying behind Jambo to get the DRS down the straight. He locks up fresh option, should be able to get the traction out of here.
Indeed he has, he's all over the back of him. He's trying to force Connerized into a mistake. He's had to go really defensive as Connerized. Could he turn defensive to attack? Not quite. Oh, and Shadow Hunter. He's got decent traction even though they hit the back of it. Could they be side by side? Fair play from the pair of them, giving each other more than enough room. They're still side by side now through turn 6. And they're still side by side with Connerized round. So he somehow hangs on.
And that could open the door for David. And that could open the door for David.
Oh, Connerized has taken too much curve, and there goes Shadow Hunter. He's through, and indeed Davey has pitted. Davey has indeed pitted, but he's still going to come out behind him. He's going to be behind his teammate, but looking at this gap actually, Shadow, is that? No, it's Jambo that's ahead of him, isn't it? Not Weekly. Yeah, so I just thought that Shadow Hunter somehow managed to reduce the lead, but no, it's Jambo still in his first stint on the prime tyres. He'll be one to watch out later in the race doing the alternative strategy. For now, he is in P2, but his strategy will be a lot different as Shadowhunter's got the DRS flap over. Now Jambo's actually gone really defensive to the inside of the McLaren. If I was him, I'd just let him through because it's just going to hold him off. And indeed, great cutback there from the McLaren of Shadowhunter, and he takes what is now a net P2. But I think as a result, he's lost a bit more time to Weekly Nerf, who's currently out in front and is leading by quite some distance. In fact, I'm just going to have a look at that gap. He's now into the final corner. Shadowhunter's not even at turn A. That gap is around about 9 seconds, maybe 10 seconds.
We've got Weekly Nerf out right through to the end of the field, and we've got separated by only about right to the end of the field, separated by only about. We've got a really close battle here all the way throughout, and LGS is one of them. We've got a really close battle here all the way throughout, and LGS is one of them who's closed up to the back of Ferrari.
Jambo's just going to point right at turn 2 as Swishbot actually sent a message just saying apparently that Livingdon should get a penalty for retiring as Ryan's lost connection. The second night in a row, Ryan has lost connection. So now we're down to 9 runners and riders throughout the rest of this race. We're only about a quarter of the way into this race already. The Jambo is beginning to struggle on these older prime tyres, and Conor Rice is still out on his options somehow. He's got to be pitting. Indeed he is. Conor Rice does indeed come into the box, so that frees up his teammate Davey. I wonder if that was strategic there from the force of the through. Clearly he's the quicker driver. There's actually, I think it was Dizzy Kibby that was actually weaving down the straight.
Yeah, he was.
Apparently somehow there is an echo coming through from your side according to Switch. I don't know why. It's no different from what it was last week, and last week was perfect. So, no idea. Excuse me, as Baxter Hill on the current time, it was actually set at 1:99, probably with the aid of DRS actually, what's keeping it behind Vittorio Rosso, and Ryan is now second in message. His screen had frozen. That's a huge shame for him. He's even in this decent race, and anything could have happened, but unfortunately it's another non-stop finish for him.
Jambo pit. That wasn't quite as long as you managed on the tyres.
No, I did 23.
23, Bob. Yeah.
Probably not a bad thing to do, really. It just means he has to do an extra lap on each of his option stints. I wouldn't have thought so. As Dizzy Cupid's now all over the back of the silver ready Ferrari of Harry, options versus Primesy, and Dizzy Cupid just simply outbrakes him into turn 2. Great move there from Dizzy Cupid. He's now back up into P4 and making his way through the field. Indeed he is. I think he could be a little livid from what happened at the start, but it's a great comeback nonetheless, and there's still more than 50 laps to go here, so anything can still happen. But to be fair, there is a huge gap between Weekly Nathan Wade Shadowhunter in P2. Swishbone has just sent me a message, just simply asking, what's my opinion, or our opinion, Jamie, on the supposed announcement from Tomo last night? Personally, I thought it was unnecessary. Well, I'll let you go first.
I was just going to say, I knew he was there, so I didn't look.
Oh, right, okay. Well, if I can sort of remember rightly, I think it was in... Do you know what? Swish, can you remind me please what it was about? Because I've actually completely forgotten. It's use.
Was it not about the comments?
I know some of it was about comments, and I think it was also in relation to see Harry retiring as well. I think that was involved, but I can't. Don't quote me on it. It was strange. I didn't know what to expect him going to say, actually, in all honesty. Could have been absolutely anything.
Yeah, look at that. Look seconds already, and he's sharp very quickly up by to the 4 seconds already, and Davey, who's very prime tyres as well, to the 4 seconds. So Davey, who's on the prime tyres as well, options.
Indeed he is. You know, this is the battle for the final podium paying position at the moment. And you can, as you mentioned, quite close. You look at the grip difference. I mean, Dizzy Cupid's tyres are actually the best part of 10 laps old, I think, and yet he's still gaining on Davey, who's only been on those prime tyres for about 6 laps. Oh, right, okay. Right, so Swish has just updated me. He said it was something along the lines of Swish One's a legend and all that, but my banter is my own, in my own way. If you don't like it, there's the door, don't let it hit you on the way. Well, I can see where he's coming from. Obviously, Swish, we can't take away the fact that you are a legend because it's plain and simply written in English that you are. But I can see where he's coming from, basically, that, you know, he's trying to liven everything up a little bit. As Dizzy Cupid, sorry, is having a look on the inside of turn A on Davey, but that's not going to hurt. Davey having a big moment there, actually. And he's compromised himself here, and here comes Dizzy Cupid. He's got the DRS flap open. It should be an easy move into turn 1. He's gone well to the inside of Davey. He's already got ahead of him before the corner, and he's made the corner beautifully anyway, so... Oh, but Davey's got great traction and a better run through the exit of turn 1, the side-by-side now. As they come up the hill and in towards turn 2, who's going to have the higher ground and the advantage? Dizzy Cupid on the outside line, Davey's going to hold the inside line, Dizzy Cupid's going to look for the cutback here. Indeed he does, so there I go, the letterbox opens for Dizzy Cupid. Is Davey going to defend? He's not. Dizzy Cupid's going to look down the inside into turn 3. Still side by side, these two. Great driving from the pair of them. There's cleanage. You like it. They're still side by side through 4 and into turn 5 now. Who's going to have the higher ground? Dizzy Cupid trying around the outside. Oh, he had a little moment there, and Davey just hands on for now. Anyway, switch back to those comments quickly before Dizzy Cupid makes a try to make another move. Maybe it probably wasn't necessary, but I think he was just trying to get a point across to everybody that, you know, he's trying to do it his own way, trying to replicate it himself and what he thinks is best, and trying to just, you know, make it, you know, fun and enjoyable to watch. As Dizzy Cupid now has got the DRS into turn 1. He's made the move once again, but has Davey got a better run through? Indeed he has. They're going to be side by side once again. As they come up the hill into turn 4. Oh, Dizzy Cupid lets him through. Maybe he thought he cut turn 1 actually, yeah. And do you know what, with these two battling, this is bringing both Harry and Dizzy Cupid's teammate LGS into this battle. Oh, he just made a bit of a mistake there actually. Coming through turns 3 went too far wide, so potentially Harry could have a look at him here as they come through turns 5 and 6. I'm going to go on board with the Ferrari driver who sees he's again lapping. I'm impressed by Harry so far. Obviously stepping up 2 divisions for us, and he's doing a really good job, currently in P5, and he's battling up there for a podium paying position at the moment. Touch wood, nothing goes wrong. I may have just cursed that, haven't I? It probably have. Maybe. As Dizzy Cupid's got a DRS once again in the back of Davey. He's not going to make a move into turn 1 this time around. Indeed doesn't. Oh, Davey getting a little, actually the pair of them getting out of shape through turn 1 on the entry and the exit. And well, Dizzy Cupid's trying to get into the slipstream of that Force India. Don't think it. Oh, a bit of lag there from Davey actually. He's not going to have a look into turn 2. Gives Davey a little nudge actually. It probably helps him through the corner because he was pretty slow to be brutally honest. But here we go, Dizzy Cupid with the DRS open once again. He's going to get moving to turn 3. Oh, a bit more lag there from Davey. Not what he needed. He's on the inside. Can he get this done? He's finally done it. He's ahead. It's a case of now can he pull away without making a mistake, because maybe on those prime tyres they're obviously a lot fresher, they will give him a bit more grip later on, but can Dizzy Cupid pull a gap to him, and she's trying to already, he could be doing it. Right, if I'm not mistaken, LGS will be pitting this lap, and indeed he is. It's funny how I know it's what his strategy is. Is he basically doing the same strategy that you and I did? Well, I actually know what you did, because I went prime and option, but then it was the same. Yeah. Just going to get on board with the front two and see what the gap is. Dizzy Cupid now in P3, as I mentioned. Oh, there's a big gap between him and Shadowhunter. Look at that. Let's have a look. It's around about 10 seconds actually between second and third. So Michael, you're not going in G3 anymore, dude. Look at you. You're in P2. Look at you. You're doing well. Go on, my son. As Weekly Nithos done a 108.9 on this stint. He is absolutely flying. And he's got around about a 12-second lead over Shadowhunter, maybe 13. As I'm going to go to the back of the field. So LGS has made his pit stop. He's come out in P9 and what is now last place. P8 is Connor Rise. He's starting to fall off a little bit here on the back of those in front. Jambo is P7 on option tyres. Not really hassling those further to the front. Blacks the Hill actually is in P6 with Connor puts turn 1 there like an absolute boss. So he's about 2.5 seconds clear of Jambo, so Jambo should be beginning to close in that gap to the Williams driver. We'll get on board with that later on. Harry in 5th place is falling off the back of that. He was right on the back of the pair of them in front, but he's now falling off the back of Davey, who in turn has fallen off Dizzy Cupid. So Dizzy Cupid now can try and set his sights on catching up to Shadowhunter. And the gap between them was about 10 seconds, so he's got plenty of time. He just needs to keep it consistent and clean, and he can find himself, trying to stay on the podium. It'll be really close in terms of what strategies people are doing as well. Who's been naughty or nice in terms of their track limits?
Probably I'd say the cleanest on track. I've had a look at weekly names. Probably the cleanest on track. Then I'm on one way flat.
Amazing how the man at the front, who's also the quickest, is the cleanest.
Yeah.
I think Weekly Nate is now starting to show his true potential. Obviously, he won last time out in Canada. He won in China. And the other results didn't really seem to show what form or pace he had. But looking at him now, he is really starting to shine. I think he could potentially give his teammate Jambo a run for his money in this championship now, because they're the only two people to have won. Actually, no, LGS won in Monaco, but then the Mercedes pairings have won 4 in 2 races each respectively. Could be quite interesting. As Dizzy Cupid goes into the pits for his second stop, yes. Let's see what tyres he goes onto as I go on board with him. He's actually gone off the track somewhere because his tyres is covered in grass and whatever else and nonsense is on it. But let's have a look. He's gone on to the prime tyres. Let's see where he's going to come out in relation to that. Is somebody coming down into turn 1. He's going to be behind that car. And is that his teammate? No, it's Connor Rise. So he's come out ahead of his teammate still. Toro Rosso's are now 8th and 9th, but are on fresh rubber. LGS obviously has got options here. LGS actually could get one over his team here, being on the fresher rubber and on the quicker time. That could be interesting there.
as you touched on just earlier there about and that weekly Nath having a chance to maybe get Jambo run for his money, this could be a huge weekly Nath having a chance. I know we're not getting Jambo run for his money, this could be a huge opportunity.
Well, if you think about it, he's doing the same strategy as me, and I didn't really move up the field until the second half of the race. You know, people are going on prime tyres now. This is Jambo's time to, you know, make up places and catch up. He's already he's just gone off in the last corner. Actually made a mistake there. You can see he's closing in on Blackster Hill pretty easily. He was on prime tyres, and he's actually leaving the pit lane. And that could involve Blackster Hill could be involved in that into a battle now. And who is it that's come out of the pits? And we have a cheeky little look. It's a Mercedes. Is it a Mercedes? No, it's Shadowhunter. So he's come out into P4, and he's actually got clean air. It's a case. Well, he should be able to keep Blackstone behind him who's on there. Not as fresh at rubber, but Blackstone has not opened his DRS. Maybe he has a DRS problem. I'm not quite sure because he didn't have that given to him. He could have opened it, but he chose not to. Actually, there's a battle for P7 going on here, and it's Conor Eyes defending from Dizzy Cupid. So even though Dizzy Cupid's on the prime tyres, he's close in the back of Conor Eyes, who's struggling even on these option tyres that are now about 12 laps old. Dizzy Cupid on very fresh prime tyres, and he's all over the back of the Force India. He's had a much better run through turn 6 and 7. I thought he was going to try and get alongside him to turn 8, but Conor Eyes is now defended to the inside line. As they come through turn 8, you can clearly see Dizzy Cupid taking the more natural racing line. Could have potentially made a move there. He's gone wide though at the final corner. Is he going to make a move into turn? He is. A little bit of speculation from that because he did actually go wide at the final corner and then make the move. He's got this lap to Conor Eyes back through if he chooses to, but I'm going to presume that he doesn't. Let's win. Saying that, apart from the first laps, it's been a clean race.
I mean, apart from that, it's first lap. Gamble, as we speak, Gamble, as we saw earlier, closed up to the back of Blackster Hill, and he has earlier.
Blackster Hill goes off at the final corner actually. As a result, so the DRS flap is open for Gamble, but he's not going to be close enough into turn 1. It's a case of can he be close enough as they come into the top of the hill into turn 2, or will he use the DRS into turn 3? Excuse me, that's what I was waiting for. Blackstone's actually gone quite defensive to begin with, and then goes back to the racing line. Jambo actually, I think it broke pretty early there actually. He took the corner as a result. And there is a battle going further behind actually. I think LGS is now making a move on Conor Eyes, and indeed he is. LGS is alongside Conor Eyes. Conor Eyes has made a mistake, and LGS just says, thank you very much, I will take that P8. Gone a bit deep into turn 3. Can Conor Eyes hang it on the inside? The side by side once again. And here we go, coming in towards turn 5 now. Can LGS hanging through on the inside? He's got the fresh rubber. He should have this done. Indeed, he does. Conor Eyes trying to get some sort of cutback, but it wasn't quite working out. And then I'm going to go back and bother Jambo in P6, who is all over the back now of that Williams and Blackstone. Blackstone's made a huge mistake into the final corner. He's gone wide, and Jambo just says, well, thank you as well. I'll take that position. And ahead. Indeed he has. This is brand new prime tyres versus older prime tyres. And here goes Michael on the inside into turn 2. Just later in the brakes, makes the corner. Beautiful move, and he should have the DRS actually to pull away as well, because he was behind, and indeed he does. He should just be able to hang on to that on the racing line, but Harry is not giving up without a fight, but I think it was inevitable that Michael was going to keep to that position, and he goes back into P3. He can set his sights now on catching up to Davey, who's P2 on all the prime tyres himself. I think Weekly Nath has made a pit stop. Indeed he has. He's also onto prime tyres himself. Yeah, he's just come out of the pits on this lap, so he should be settling in now for a long run on this stint. Someone's just gone into the box. It's Jambo. It was Harry. I think it's Harry's made a pit stop now, but Dizzy Cupid's all over the back of the Williams of Blackstone Hill. He's gone to the inside with the DRS flap open. He's made the move to follow corner. Blackstone tried to give him a nudge through there, but Dizzy Cupid holds his own. He's into P5 now. But the Williams of Blackstone Hill, he's staying in the slipstream. He's going to try and make a look as they come up the hill in towards turn 2. A little bit of a touch there. Dizzy Cupid, I think Dizzy Cupid just forced him out of road there. It's fair enough, seeing as Blackstone give him a little nudge. I think he's just trying to tell him that this is my position and you're not taking it from me. So LGS is now up to P7 with Connorized 8th, and Harry is now down to 9th after making his recent pit stop. He does have the Queen out. Let's see what he can do. From where he's going to have a look and see what tyres he's gone onto. And it's the option tyres for Harry on this stint. I'm just thinking here actually, Jeremy, how many pit stops some people are making, because there seems to be some strange strategies going on there, such as Harry's, for example. He's done option then drive, and he's gone back to option again, and we're only just about to reach the halfway point.
I don't know. It'll be really difficult for him. I don't know. From that.
He's trying to change it to force. Well, saying that, you can get 18 marks out of the option, so he's trying to push it. Talking about Harry's strategy and the option tyres. The fact that he could be going longer on them.
Oh yeah. Did you remember last night? Oh yeah. Winner of TSR. Did you remember last night? The winner of TSR. And he seemed okay on his final stint. Maybe Harry is. And he seemed okay on the last couple of laps. So maybe Harry is trying to do that for sure.
Potentially. As Jambo, who is in P4, is starting to come under a little bit of pressure from Dizzy Cupid. He's closing in on their rating knots. Jambo will probably have 2 more stops to do himself actually. 2 more option stints. He'll probably be pitting within the next lap or so. He's actually been on these tyres now for about nearly 18. This is his 18th lap on these option tyres. And he seems to be, I wouldn't say he's actually struggling. He seems to be keeping the pace up with the car in front of him, which is Shadow Hunter. I had to think for a second then. And if Dizzy Cupid through that last corner with the it takes a huge chunk out of Jambo's time there. He's got the DRS now as he comes to turn 1, so Dizzy Cupid could be taking another victory. Oh, but he's cut turn 1. Is he going to make a move? Well, Jambo goes right, very defensive to the inside, and Dizzy Cupid's going to have to resort to the outside line. Could he make a dummy move here? No, he isn't. He just has to stay behind. It's probably the best idea, seeing he did cut turn 1. But Jambo gets a much better exit through turn 2, and he could actually be far enough ahead to maybe not even have to defend from Dizzy Cupid and come down the hill and in towards turn 3, and indeed that is the case. So Jambo holds on for now, but I'm just trying to think of when he's going to be hitting. If I was him, I'd hit this lap. Then he can get, what, 2 17-lap stints out of his next 2 option runs. Probably be the most good, but we'll see if he does go to the right-hand side to make a pit stop. And he doesn't, he stays out. All this is doing is just allowing Dizzy Cupid to pull back in on him. There's the DRS flap. wide open into turn 1. He's not close enough to keep it to make a move, but if he can keep it cleaner, which he has done, he can have a good run up the hill towards turn 2. Jambo's gone very defensive again to the inside line. He goes, just keep it gone for the inside of this little kink up the hill, the outside line to turn 2. Jambo got much later on the brakes, but Dizzy Cuba's got better traction on these fresh tyres. And there you go, around the outside, he's got the DRS to pull away, and he's taken P4. Can Jambo have any attempt to have a look down to turn 3 as Dizzy Cuba does a little bit of a weave for reasons unbeknown to man, but he takes that position nonetheless anyway. But Shadow Hunter now is all over the back of Davey here. What is the battle for P2? Michael is really having a moment here, and actually I think by the looks of it, Davey's going a lap earlier on his pit stop here, Jamie. Indeed he is, he's boxing. Disappointing. Wow, Weakeneth just went through turn 2 as Michael was attempting turn 1. Complete enough. This is a reminiscence of Canada last week. Saying that, it could have been different if Dizzy Q didn't have that incident on the first lap. I think he could have been a match for him. LGS now, he's up into P5. He'll be making a pit stop at the end of lap 40, so he'll be going into the pits very soon. But he's up into P5 as LGS, and this strategy could work for him. It's a bizarre one, but it could work. Harry's now up into 6, and he's setting low 109s as his fastest lap, so he's got good pace here as Harry. And as I mentioned earlier, this will set good sights for F4 tomorrow night, where Wes and I will be commentating on that. And obviously we have the double header on the Wednesday night of F5 and T6, guys, so a lot more action to come after GP2 here tonight. David's come out in a lot of clean air. He's in P7 and on the option tyres, so I'm just going to run and ball with him for a full lap to see what sort of lap time he can do, because he needs to be probably lapping, I'd say, in the 108s, or at least a very low 109s. Having a chance of catching up to people in front. As I just decided to take a drink, and that's a lovely start to the lap there from David as his nose to us that he did do it. Nice little corner cut. It's normally at this time that it seems to be quiet. About half 8 onwards. They'd be loud, they could be louder at about 10 o'clock, and hopefully we might be finished by then. But when we were talking through on what was going to happen. Yeah, but we nearly did. Okay, but instead what we got was a Bobbett's fastest lap on the penultimate lap. Actually, I didn't even know that until the penultimate lap itself. Yes, that's correct.
Exactly.
Yeah, then he bottled it himself, and then it went to 4.2. To be fair, I was surprised as to how close we were to Gunny at the end. I mean, obviously, if I didn't make my mistakes, I'd have been under 10 seconds. But nonetheless, 12 seconds off him at the end. I would take that. Now, this is going to be a good battle. Shadow Hunter, who's P2, is being reeled in quickly by Dizzy Cuba. Oh, bit of lag there for Shadow Hunter. He gets a second lag spike. Dizzy Cuba does have DRS. So here we go. This is the battle for P2 now. Dizzy Cuba has been making his way through the field. He's now on the back of the McLaren driver. Shadow Hunter was probably thinking that he had second place comfortably in his hands. But with just less than 30 laps to go here, he's going to be under pressure from Toro Rosso here. So up the hill in towards turn 2 now. Dizzy Cuba is so much later on the brakes. compared to other drivers around him. He's going to have the DRS, but he's not going to have a chance on overtaking this time around. He'll probably save it maybe for next lap. Could have a look down towards turn 1, which seems to be a popular overtaking place for him actually. Exit turn 3 through the sweeping by Andrew at turn 4, and now it's turn 5. Let's see if can Michael keep it on track. He doesn't want to wobble it off, and does he keep it on track? Well done there from Michael through turn 6 and 7. See how much more speed that the Dizzy Cupid can take because he's on a wheel. I mean, I actually compared this between a pad and a wheel in qualifying, Jamie, and a wheel can go 15 miles an hour quicker on the first part of that corner through turn 6. How ridiculous is that? No wonder they're half a second quicker than us in the last sector.
I mean, last
no, it's quicker. He did quicker than that. He did a 19.7. And then on his pole, oh sorry, Dizzy Cupid's trying to have a look into turn 2. He just goes back behind the McLaren driver of Michael, but he's really under pressure now. There's nobody anywhere near behind him now, I think. Everybody behind him started to make pit stops once again, so this is the battle for P2 here, guys. Down the hill now in towards turn 3. Dizzy is not quite close enough. The traction from the wheel is what's letting him down here. And this is how Michael can probably just about hang on. But back to our topic, Jamie, quickly. Yeah, I think through sectors 1 and 2, the pad is quicker, there's no doubt, but we lose that time and a bit more in the last sector, which is why we were useless in quali.
.4 is the best.
Well, that did involve a bit of an extension of the last corner. I think a 19.9 is probably the clean should get it, but still half a second, you know, it's ridiculous. This keeping cut turn 1 realises that he does a weave, but he can't lose speed. If you want to properly show it, ease off for about a second, or even downshift and then upshift back up again. Something like that.
The black hills move already pretty worn out, but he goes to the inside anyway. Here the black hills blocks up pretty worn out, but he goes to the inside anyway. LGS has blocks up to the inside. I think LGS has made it.
Yeah, LGS's option tyres are about 4 laps old. Blackstone, I'm not quite sure, I can't remember what lap he pitted, but I think LGS will have the fresh tyre. It actually looks like there's a 3-way battle going on, but I'm going to stay on back with Dizzy Cupid. He's actually not really made any attempts or moves to get past Shadowhunt here. Shadowhunt just seems to be able to hang on. He's got just enough traction and enough straight line speed to keep ahead of the Toro Rosso here. But both of them taking turn 1 really well there. Dizzy Cupid trying to get into the slipstream of the McLaren as they come up the hill now towards turn 2 once again. He's closing all the time, but he's just not going to be close enough to make a move. Can he get decent traction out of turn 2? It's actually much better this time around. I think this is Dizzy Cupid's best chance into turn 3. Does Michael defend to the inside onto the middle of the track? He doesn't. Dizzy Cupid going for a dive bomb. He's trying to, but Michael's just hangs on. No contact was made, so very, very fair from the parent. Shadowhunter, Michael, whatever you want. He just hanging on the P2 now, but he's having to hold on by the skin of his teeth here. These two battling for a well-deserved podium paying position. Actually, for once, Michael had a much better run through turn 6 and 7. And Dizzy Cupid is actually going into the pits. Oh, he nearly hits the wall on the tyre wall that hangs out in the pit lane. That was close. But why is he pitting now? Is he going for 2 more stops? Well, he's gone on to another set of prime tyres. That's a really interesting one. I'm baffled, actually. Really baffled by that. He's got to come out of the pits, and he could be under threat from his teammate here as they come up the hill. Indeed, he is. This is a Toro Rosso into-team battle for P5. LGS is coming in the slipstream of his teammate. Is he going to bother to make a move, though? Is the big question as they come up into turn 2. He has a just to show his teammate, look, I'm here, I'm on the optional tyres. Either you pull away or you let me through. There's the DRS flap line open from LGS. As they've gone up the hill and now going down the hill towards turn 3. In fact, he's gone right to the inside. And oh, that was a... Whoa. Okay. You saw the same, didn't you? So after letting his teammate through earlier, he's now dive bombed him.
Yeah.
Oh, that one's melted down. I wonder if LGS hasn't got him now on his screen, but I don't see why he would have. But nonetheless, Dizzy Cupid is trying to stay on the back with his teammate. Team Toro Rosso battling, I think. Well, LGS has got another pit stop to make. He'll be pitting on lap 55 for a 16-lap stint at the end. Dizzy Cupid will probably not pit again, but I think he's angry with his teammate here. He tried to have a dive bomb and look on the inside himself into turn 2 there. Oh, don't we love inter-team rivalries? I think the best one I remember was from Ascassin and Jordan last season in the Mercedes coming to the end of the season. So that was hysterical and comical to watch. This one could just be as feisty. LGS, that was pretty disgusting track accident if I do say so myself. He did give actually set his PB on that last lap at 1 minute 8.896, and that was on prime tyre. He's sticking with his teammate like a rash here actually, and yeah, LGS is not pulling away. So actually, to be fair, this could be good for Dizzy Cupid, who's actually on, as I said, he's on completely different tyres to his teammate. He has a look once again to turn 2. Maybe trying to... I don't know what I'm looking at these to take each other out or something, but... Yeah. Thoughts, Jim?
I don't know. It might have LGS. I don't know. It might have when you got LGS.
Well, we both certainly know that LGS hit him.
So you might be looking at yeah, hopefully we don't see any of that, to keep hopefully see any of that unless you couldn't.
Well, yes, one thing he needs to be careful of is his track limits. He's actually gone off 3 times in this lap, and here comes Dizzy Cupid now. He has the DRS on his team. Is he going to dive bomb into turn 1? No, he thinks better of it. Instead he cuts turn 1, and he might have a look on the back of his teammate instead. Maybe LGS trying to defend in the middle of the track. He's now gone to the inside, which will be the outside, but I don't think Dizzy Cupid's going to make a move here. He does, and that is, well, nothing bad came off it, but I don't know what I'm witnessing here. It's, yeah. I mean, we never got any last night between the pair of them when they were racing, so why have we got it tonight? When they're actually racing as teammates. Behind them, however, is Blackster Hill in P7. Is that Jambo still only in P8? Indeed it is. Jambo is only P8 and he's actually lost an M plate. How has he managed to lose an M plate? So look at the understeer, he's getting through these corners, no wonder he keeps on going off. You know, he's pushing as hard as he can, Jambo, but he needs to be careful here with, I don't know, he's probably done that on the pit exit, hasn't he? That's the only place you can really do it, unless you completely lose it altogether.
Yeah, likely.
Conrad, unfortunately for him, he's nowhere near the back of them. He's got about a 12-second gap. And actually looking at this, well, I don't know, Weekliness not as close as I thought he was to lapping him. Weekliness, I think Weekliness is pinching. No, he's not. That was just me being a douche. But his lead is now the best part of nearly 20 seconds over Shadow Hunter. You'll both still have one more pit stop to make on the option tyres. Harry is now open to P3 on a podium paying position. But behind him is the option running Davey. Davey on those probably fresher options than Harry. Actually, saying that Harry's been in those tyres now for 15 laps as it is. He's going to have to go at least another 3 before he makes the pit stop. Davey's tyres are about 12 laps old, so they are 3 laps fresher. And you can tell the difference. He's closing in quickly on the back of that Ferrari. I'll get on board with them a little later on as I'm going to go back on board with this Toro Rosso is team battle. And Dizzy Cupid is still behind his teammate LGS. And I'm not quite sure how he took turn 1 there. Another jumping involved, but nonetheless he's on the back of his teammate once again. He's going to make a dive bomb into turn 2. We shall see. He is giving a little nudge.
Gamble round the outside of Black Star Hill at turn 2 as well. Right on the back of him. Surely this will kick in halfway down the straight. And right on the back already. Surely this will kick in halfway down the straight. This race he goes to the outside already with Team Gamble. Can he make it around the outside?
No side bug glitch, thankfully. Thankfully no side bug glitch there. He's on the outside, down the inside into turn 5. But look at Blackster Hill, still trying to hang it.
Unbelievable.
He's still there. Jambo gives him a little nudge, I think. Jambo makes it move. Even with that emblem missing, he's gone ahead of him. But
Jambo makes the move.
The fair play from the pair of them there. Blackster Hill now will probably try to retaliate. Coming to turn 1, we shall see him going bold. The Williams driver has a little bit of a moment actually on the very exit of turn 9. And Jambo should be okay to hang on into turn 1. Blackster Hill very late in the brakes there into turn 1 compared to Jambo and Mercedes, and I thought he could have a look maybe up the hill and towards turn 2. He's not quite close enough. There's actually three two pairings here of people battling. I think Dizzy Cupid's just fallen off his teammate slightly at the moment, but I'm going to battle for P3, and Davey's got ahead of Harry. Davey is back into P3 and he's ahead of Harry. DJ probably going to be doing one more lap before making a pit stop, try and get an undercut on Davey. You know, Harry could actually still be on for a podium paying positioning. You know, he's actually in that area, and I think Shadowhunter's got the better of Davey in this race on this, especially in his first stint. But we shall see, as Harry's got the DRS, once again on the back of Davey, or shall I say Gravy, whichever you want to go. Oh, Harry! Big moment on the exit of turn 1. He's lost. I think his tyres have just gone. I think he's going to be boxing. And looking at this, actually, saying that, I think they're only...
He was brilliant.
Yeah, so looking at this, I think they're only about 4 or 5 seconds ahead of the Toro Rosso pairing. I don't know what Dizzy Cupid's strategy is. I don't know if he's pitting again, but whatever strategy it is, it looked like it was working, but now he's not, because he's been stuck behind his teammate ever since he's pretty much come out of the pit lane. I think he's going to box for options.
Very, very weird
strategy, I think. Harry's going for the pits, is he? He is indeed. Harry's going for the pits. He's going to go for the undercut. Oh, he's got to try and keep that within the white line if he can as he comes to the pit lane, but nonetheless he's coming to his final pit stop of option tyres. LGS will be pitting on lap 55. I know that, we know that, because it's a given. Just getting a little bit further back because Dizzy Cupid is not as close to his teammate as he has been. Harry's still coming towards the next to the box. Who else is coming? Blackster Hill's going for an undercut on Jambo. He's now making his final pit stop of this race. Connor Rice not going into the pit, so he will get a position at least and back into P8, but I think his position will be ninth at the end of this race unless something happens. Going on with Weekly Neth, our leader, and he doesn't pit for his option tyres just yet. He's going for another lap of his primes, and he's still keeping it clean for life. Once he says he's setting his primes, he'll be pretty good.
Got to the front.
Shadow Hunter boxes. Michael is coming in the pits for his final pit stop. Indeed, well, Davy's staying out for another lap, and actually, LGS has gone in a lap early. Probably trying to get a gap to his teammate. No, 23 was bad enough for me on the footing. As LGS is coming out of the pits, he's going to be behind Harry. The gap between them, I think, is going to be around about the 4-second mark. And behind LGS is Conrise, who's still in the pit stop. So Jambo's pitted. He's changed his wing and he's come out behind Blackster Hill. The battle commences once again between these two, and Jambo once again is having to pass the Williams driver Blackster Hill up the hill into turn 2. Blackster Hill's gone a little deep actually into the corner, and this Jambo's got a really good chance here down to turn 3. He's got the DRS slot wide open. Let's see if he can make the move. He's going to roll the inside and the outside. He's gone to the outside line into turn 3. He's gone later on the brakes. Rather than outside of turn 3 from Jambo. Is he going to get this done again? Yes, he has. Jambo straight away gets ahead of Blackster. That's a great move. Saying that though, I'm still surprised that he's not as high up as I thought he would be. As Conrise now goes into the box for his final pit stop, so Jambo will be up into P7 and Blackster Hill 8th, as LGS is still in P6, and ahead of him Davy's made his pit stop. He's come out in P5 and he's behind Harry once again. This is the battle repeating for the final podium paying position potentially, and if these two start scrapping, LGS can close in. You see what Harry's lap time is. He's done a 108 flat actually. As Harry, he's on the money in terms of his pace on his first flying lap on these option tyres. In the case of what Davey can do, it certainly is. That was quicker than most people on their last night, and this is an F4 drive. I suppose he is on a wheel, but still. Davey, you can clearly see through that final sector, he's not as quick compared to the Ferrari driver, so if he wants to make a move, he's going to have to be close through sectors 1 and 2. And great for Harry to make a mistake and not make a mistake himself as he just did then. Davey's certainly pushing it, and you can't take that away from him, but he needs to try and be cleaner. Michael has made his final pit stop, obviously now he's in P3 at the moment, because Dizzy Cupid is still out on his prime tyres in P2, and he's only just coming to turn 3 now. So Michael, about 8 seconds roughly behind. Yeah, about 8 seconds behind Toro Rosso. So I should expect him to catch up soon. It's probably in the next 10 laps, maybe even sooner. Not if he goes off though. Oh, I thought he lost it. That could have been disastrous. I think his heart was pumping then. Harry's still in that P4 position, and Harry's pulling away from Davey. Davey is struggling on these option tyres. He's not setting clean lap times. I mean, he's just doing a 1 minute, probably 1 minute 9 there, I think roughly. LGS is on a 108.2 as his best lap. He's closing right in on him. I think Davey's going to have to look at his mirrors rather than look at the Ferrari ahead of him, because the Toro Rosso of LGS, the Scotsman, is closing in on the back of him. Yes, I think it's Scotsman. We don't relate Scots in English together anymore. Since you wanted a bloody independence. Tell you what, I do feel like Marshall was standing there just constantly watching people go around and round, but he had a boring job. Going through turn 6, and Davy's just made a little error there, kicks up the dust through turn 7, went far too wide. And LGS, I think, is sniffing blood here. Well, I hope he's not sniffing blood, literally, but I think he's got a chance here of catching up to Davey here. And he's actually within the DRS of the Force Indians. There we go, as LGS was 108.1 on that lap. He is right on the money with his pace. And I think Davey's, as I said, he's going to have to look at his mirrors now because Tom also is right behind him. LGS's problem is that he has poor traction out of the corner, so Davey might be able to hang on. Unless Leatham are looking potentially, I'd say, turn 1. So once again, he's gone quite deep into turn 2, and actually there's a bit of a moment there. So Davey can pull away slightly for the time being. Oh, Davey's just let LGS through. No, he just stopped. He's on the grass. I don't know what he's doing here, but Davey's on the grass and has something happened to his pedals? Oh, he's got controllers are disconnected then, yeah. Oh, Davey, he's lost about 12 seconds. Oh, that is such a shame, and actually he's going to come under threat from Jambo in P7, who's lapping pretty decently himself. He's done this is a PB from the minute? No, not quite, but he's lapping in the mid 108s. Davey, I think, is going to be kicking himself from this. So LGS now has a chance of maybe a podium here, but he's got Harry ahead of him in P4 to take care of first. Ahead of Harry is Michael, or Shadowhunter, whatever you recall him. He's in P3, not really lapping pretty quickly actually, I must say, on this set of option tires. He's not catching up with Dizzy Keeper as quick as I thought he would be. We're going to compare their two lap times as they come across the line. Weekly Air, once what his fastest lap is actually. So 108 flat. He's only just set the fastest lap ahead of Harry, I think. About 110s. Michael actually lapped about the same. He's not getting at all. I think he's making too many errors. Let's have a look at the fastest lap, and indeed, Weekly Nate's time is 3,000ths quicker than Harry's. And interestingly, LGS has a 10-second penalty. Well, he's about 10 seconds ahead of Davey after whatever he did.
LGS and Harry both doing 1:10.
Let's have a look. I'm looking at his race director now. Michael. Right. Okay, so since his pit stop, he's done 108.9, 109.2, 108.9, 108.9, 109.7. Compare that to Harry. Since he's pitted, he's done 108 flat, 108.3, 108.8, 108.9, 108.9, 108.5. He was more than a second quicker on the last lap.
Yeah.
Michael's got to be careful. You have to be careful. The gap between Weekly Nathan and Michael, Weekly Nathan and Dizzy Cupid is about 15 seconds or so, and from Dizzy Cupid to Michael, it's about 6 or 7. But look at Harry, he's closing in ever so more. On the back of him, Michael's going to have to pick up the pace, and Harry's dragging along LGS for the ride as well. Going to go on bottom with Davey actually and see how he's doing in relation to Jambo. Jambo's within about a second and a half, maybe 2 seconds. Yeah, I think Davey's going to be kicking himself after whatever happened on that. Well, what is now 2 laps ago, and Jambo is certainly very close to him. He's not within the DRS detection point yet, but I think it's only a matter of a few more tenths, and he should be able to be on the back of the first inning. But I don't know what's happened to Jambo this race. His strategy just hasn't worked for him, even though it worked for myself last night, and he's not been able to make the places up that he should have been. And he's down in P7. He has a chance of P6, but it's probably not one of the best races I've seen him do.
Yeah, and Jambo earlier. I mean,
well, I think going into this race, Jambo was 34 clear of Davey and 38 from Weekly Nip. So that gap will be reduced by 17 points to his teammates, so it'll be 21 points, it'll be less than a victory. Oh, Davy's lagged. And Jambo's made the move and he's got DRS to pull away. That was easy enough for him. Davy's just had no luck in this last stint.
That didn't second lag spike cost him DRS 2 weeks later. He had one in the front there, had one which was costing him DRS 2 weeks later.
At least though he's still all over the back of Jambo's. They're coming through turn 6 and 7 now though. Yeah, I think Harry's actually pulled away a bit from LGS and all of that. I'm not quite sure what the gap is between Michael and Harry, but look at that, Jambo took that final corner right bang on and Davey just had no answer for it. I think he's just struggling. Maybe he's lacking in false feedback or something. That's the only thing I can think of. Just going behind them, Blackstone Hill is 8th, he's not really gaining on those in front. I think he's settled for the rest of this race. Conor Rice is now actually on prime tyres. He hasn't run them yet. He's really falling behind, and if he's not careful, he could be lapped by Weekly Nathan. I think he will be. Does he keep it though? He is still in P2, and Michael is not closing. In fact, Babe Trackers and if does he keep it? And once again, but let's have a look at his lap time. It's 1:10, 1:09 maybe. Michael was a little quicker on that lap, but not much, and Harry is really closing in. Could he catch up to him with, well, what is now 6 laps, well, just over 6 laps to go? Oh, he's cut turn 1 though. He did cut turn 1, but Jambo's got the run on him anyway.
I realised that and he let DRS through.
Yeah, I think probably not realising how good these tyres are on this last stint. But here goes Davey nonetheless. He's got the DRS flap over him, which I don't think he's really close enough to make any sort of impression on Jambo, and indeed he's not.
Jambo, all this race. Jambo, just all this race. Been able to have had completely outline speed, outpower anyone. Been able to completely outbend well power.
So you wonder if he's got the more lower aerodynamic setup, because that could be costly elsewhere. I mean, look through turn 8 there, look how good Davey was compared to Jambo. That just sort of shows it actually. So Davey's now got the DRS flap over on the back of him. Can he make a move into turn 1? He's got on the inside once again. Can he stop the car this time? He does. But he's got off at the end of turn 1 and he's realised that again, and Jambo just goes back through once again.
It's not with him, he's not making cars to get that more pace now that he's forced himself. Seems like he's just get that DRS. Forced himself running about 1-1.
Well, I ran 3-1 and I think that was pretty good.
And that, I ran 2-1 in the race.
No wonder I couldn't bloody catch up. Saying that, I did have to fuel save a fair bit. It's annoying. But Davey, nonetheless, he's so all over the back of Jambo. They're coming to the end of what is their 66th lap. 5 laps to go for here, but Weekly Nathan's already on his 67th, and he's got a clear lead out in front of Dizzy Cupid. And Jambo goes really wide at the final corner. Davey won't have any chance this time when it's turn 1, but it might give him a chance into turn 2, which probably will be a better overtaking spot for him. Through they go. Just about keeps him in the lines there, Davey, so he's got a chance now coming up the hill and towards turn 2. Jambo will go defensive to the inside line, stays to the race for the time being, does he move across? Not really. Davey's going to have a look, here he goes. on the inside of turn 2, and he's got the move done. He's taken that 6 points back. Great move from Davey, and he's got the DRS this time. I've just gone up actually, yeah, Harry. Michael is actually closing in on Dizzy Cupid, and Harry's closing in on Michael, and LGS isn't too far behind himself. This could be a really good finish to the end of this GP2 division here around the Austrian A1 ring circuit. Harry is within the DRS of Michael now, so here we go. Battle is commencing for what is the final podium paying position. I said Michael was struggling on these option tyres, and indeed he is. Oh, but Harry's gone wide at turn 1. That's not really helped him his chances at all. Dizzy Cupid is probably liking this still in P2. He's just hanging on. He's got 3.5 laps to go roughly to get those prime tyres to the end of the race. So you can already. They're on their 23rd lap now, I think it is. Yeah, he's on his 23rd lap on these tyres, and they're probably. I struggled to get MT3 on them in the first stage. It'd probably be a little easy on this last thing, but indeed, yeah, his options are older compared to LGS and Michael in front of him. Indeed, I think between second and fifth is around about 4 seconds, maybe 5 seconds, with 3 laps to go, so stick with it here everybody if you're watching, if anyone's watching. Oh, Harry's another moment through turn 1, but at least it was better than the previous lap. I think it's going to be between Dizzy Cupid and Michael for a position here, because it depends on how badly worn Dizzy Cupid's prime tyres are. But nonetheless, it's been a good race from these 4 drivers, especially from Dizzy Cupid, coming from the back of the field after that first lap incident. To be back into P2 is a very good race from himself. But look, I think Michael is just a lot better through the slow corners. And actually, I'm going to go on board with Michael, because I think he's actually within, or very close to being within 1 second of Dizzy Cupid for that P2 spot. And actually, I think he is within 1 second, there's no doubt about it. That battle, I think, between Davey and Jambo is still going on, but I'm going to stick on board with this. Through the penultimate corner, Shadowhunter just keeping it within the line. He's got a little wide in the final one, but he's got the DRS on the back of Dizzy Cupid, so he is within a second. Battle commences, 2 laps to go here. Weekly Nathan's got a 20-second lead over everybody behind. Oh, now Michaels has gone wide at turn 1. Everyone's been compromised with the DRS, and they're not knowing where the breaking point is. I think LGS has made a mistake at turn 1 because he's dropped off a bit. Michael
somehow managing to still keep it off.
Oh, Dizzy Cupid! Dizzy Cupid's got 1 at turn 3. His tyres have gone. His tyres have gone. Can Shadowhunter make a move on here? This is just going to help Harry close on the back of him, and indeed it will. Shadowhunter looking for a move on the inside. He's cut the corner. He can't overtake. Indeed, he realises that. LGS might like this with his teammate holding everybody up. Shadowhunter sliding it through turn 7. Here comes Harry. I'm going on board with Harry on this one. This is going to be a last lap scrap between these 3 drivers. This is fantastic. Dizzy Cupid's coming to the final corner. Oh, Michaels is on lag. He's on lag spike on the penultimate lap, and Harry's got into 3rd.
Oh, lag spike.
Oh my god. Through turn 1, and Dizzy Cupid somehow keeps it on the track. Harry, F4 division. He's going to have a good run on Dizzy Cupid here. He's going to have a dive bomb into turn 2. Is he going to... Let's have a look. No, he stays behind. Now Michael going for it. Oh, Michael. Michael's has come out of nowhere, and he's going to have better traction. Oh, they're both going to have DRS though on the back of Dizzy Cupid. I wonder if he's going to hang on. LGS is not going to get involved in this. He's too far behind. I think Harry could be kicking Michael there from what he did then. He's gone slightly defensive to the inside to defend from Michael. He's probably kicking himself because of that lag spike. It could cost him a podium. We're coming through turn 5 now. Can Dizzy keep it hang on? Wilkinair takes 2 wins in the last 2 races. He's won here in Austria. Can Dizzy keep it hang on? He's got 1 more sector to hang on. This should be his sector that he should be able to be alright to hang on to. Oh, he's sort of half defending. He's just got to keep it clean through these last two corners. Can he do that? Oh, Harry's gone wide. He's nearly lost it. Can Michael take advantage from it? No, he can't. Dizzy Cupid hangs on for second. Harry's going to take third. Michael is fourth and LGS is fifth. Oh,
Jambo's managed to get ahead.
he has. He's pulled about a 2-second gap to Davey. So Jambo's going to take sixth place. Davey will be seventh. Oh, that was epic. I think Shadow Hunter is definitely not going to be happy with that lag spike there, and I think he's going to be absolutely livid. It has cost him that third place. Blackstone Hill's going to end up finishing 8th, and Connor Eyes was lapped in the end, unfortunately for him, but he does score points. Nonetheless, LGS does stay 5th, even with that 10-second penalty, so that was a really interesting finale to that. But the gap between first and second, 26 seconds. Weekly Nate, once again 2 weeks in a row, completely dominating the field. As I'm just going to send the invite, and the dogs have already started having their fighting now, so at least it's come right at the end of the race. But let's get the top 3 in, and we'll just wait for them all to come in, and then we can get this interview on the go, which was, well, what turned out to be a pretty thrilling and enthralling race here from the GP2 division here tonight. It was absolutely fantastic. And actually, I have just realised that the only person who's got a mic is Harry, because the other two don't have mics. So, Weekly Nate and Dizzy, could you just both send me or Jamie a quick, short message on how you think your race went? That would be fantastic. But Harry, let's go over to you. Obviously, you're reserving in tonight from the F4 division, racing in GP2, and getting a 3rd place. Even if it was because of, you know, Michael having that lag spike, it was a fantastic race for yourself and a well-deserved 3rd place.
Yeah, it was really good. But yeah, the wheel hacks came in handy.
To say the least. Well, Michael was actually was struggling on that last stint, because the other stints he seemed to be pretty good and he was comfortable. But on that last stint, you know, he just seemed to be struggling on those option tyres, and he wasn't really closing in on Dizzy Cupid for P2 until obviously the very end when his tyre. So that 3rd place was
On the car.
that's for even before obviously the lag spike.
It might have been because I was catching it quite quickly. It might have been because I was catching it quite quickly, and then he had the spike, and then I thought that scared me a bit, and then he had the lag.
Nonetheless, obviously you took full advantage from it. So, you know, coming in what is 2 divisions higher than where you normally race, to get a 3rd place is, I think it's personally fantastic.
What do you think about my pace and
I think you'll win. I'm going with you for the win, so long as it's, well, actually saying that, your qualifying wasn't too shabby, even for the intermediates.
Oh, at least you're not favouring Nicole.
Well, I didn't last week.
Oh, at least you're not favouring Nicole.
I picked you in last week. And Weekly Nate Sim.
Well, she needs to move up.
Well, we can't though. That's the thing, because she can only race that night.
Well, she needs to move up.
But I just got a message from Weekly Nate, said Pad wins on a hashtag wheel track. Clearly he's happy with his 2nd win in a row. And Dizzy Cupid simply saying, no joke, I'm so happy with that's meant to be with 2nd, because at one point I was like 30 seconds off there indeed, because he was at last after the incident on the 1st lap, but nonetheless he takes a well-deserved 2nd place. So Harry, thank you for your comments, thank you Nate, and Dizzy Cupid for yours. Tomorrow night, guys, we do have the F4 division taking around the Austrian A1 ring circuit with myself and Wes in the box, followed by the doubleheader of F5 and T6 on Wednesday, before we kick off once again with the grid on Thursday and Friday, and then we return for what is pretty much everybody's home Grand Prix at Silverstone from Sunday night onwards. But from myself, from Jamie this week, thank